What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about unusual Norwegian habits. Unusual, of course, to me, an American. In Norway, I expect all these habits are quite normal. As a matter of fact, we're talking about habits today, as in stuff you do regularly. That's what a habit is. Stuff you do all the time. Norwegian habits. That's such an interesting way to phrase it that I thought this video would be quite interesting to me. Because, I'm sure Americans have lots of habits. Habits like brushing your teeth. Is that what we're talking about? Something you do every day? So I'm very interested in this. Stuff people do regularly. Norwegians do regularly. Sounds good to me. So let's take a look.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'll be talking about some of the Norwegian habits. So things that Norwegians have the habit to do on a daily basis or just like in life in general. And I have to start with this one because...
There you go. Stuff that you do every day or regularly. Okay.
It was the first thing that came to my mind when I was thinking about like a list of things for this video. And it's leaving early on Fridays, and I'm filming this on a Friday, so it suits this very well. The thing is, Fridays for Norwegians is the beginning of the weekend, if you know what I mean. So
I've heard about this. In some other video, I heard about this. Norwegians leaving early on Friday from work. That is just... Man, where do I even start? That says a lot about how Norwegians, view work and the relationship between work and employees in Norway is so much healthier and so much happier than in America. Man, no one's letting you leave early on Friday in America. Everyone's ready for the weekend. Everyone wants to go home, but no. It's not something like that happens. But now I'm learning in Norway, it's just regular. It's common. People get to leave early on Friday. It's like it truly is the start of the weekend. That's so nice. Gosh, that sounds nice.
A lot of people leave work early, like early, or take the Friday off. In architecture, I think it's easy to take the Friday off, especially if you work more hours during the week.
Take Friday off. Take Friday off. That can't be that common, right? I mean, people have been talking about the 4-day work week for a while. I feel like some countries even have tried to do it, and how it increases productivity. But, wow. Yeah, this is just... How early do you leave on Friday?
Then you take Friday off, or you leave Friday after lunch, or just like 1 or 2 hours early, because it's weekend. And I just think in general Norwegians are way less productive on a Friday because they just want like the weekend to start.
No, I mean, Americans love the weekend. We love it. We want the weekend. So Americans would take this in a heartbeat.
It's also on Fridays that you have the fredagskake, which is also a Norwegian habit. So on Fridays at work, the company will buy cakes, or like someone will bake a cake and take it like in turns every Friday. It's a different person.
The Friday cakes, man, it's just that work in Norway is such a different culture than work in America. Even you're already getting off early on Friday, but you also get a cake. Like, this is the best. This is why I just did a video not that long ago about why Norway is so happy compared to the rest of the world. Stuff like this, that's how you do it. This stuff helps.
So yeah, there's like dessert on Fridays. Another habit that Norwegians have, also related to work, is they would stop working to see the winter games. So winter games are a very big thing in Norway. Norwegians go crazy with winter games.
This actually makes a lot of sense. I don't know. Do Americans have an equivalent to this? I mean, the Super Bowl is at nighttime. The football Super Bowl, that's like at nighttime. And it's on a Sunday, so it doesn't even matter. Man, I don't know if we'd ever get off work for a sporting event, like Norwegians getting off for the Winter Games, but I totally get it.
Especially when it's related to cross country. And well, Norway is really good on winter games, so
Right.
maybe that's why. It's so
Right.
important that when the winter games are going on the TV, and if it's in the middle of a work day, Norwegians would stop everything to see the winter games, or would like watch them at the same time they're working.
It's also like Norway expects to win a lot of the Winter Games, I imagine, because Norway's really, really, really good at skiing and cross-country skiing, so it's kind of special. It's like going to see your little brother at like a football match or something. It's like Norway has to stop working and be like, we have to watch our athletes represent us at something we're really great at and we're really proud of. So I totally get why Norway is like, okay, everyone can kind of stop working and enjoy the Winter Games. I totally understand. That's actually super cool.
And they're not afraid of showing that to people because everyone else is doing the same thing and talking about it. So yeah, another thing that is a Norwegian habit, and it's something that actually shocked me a bit when I came to Norway, is that if you have a baby and you have like a baby stroller, and for example you go into a store or you go to have dinner in a restaurant, firstly you leave the stroller outside. So sometimes
This would never happen in a million years in America. Never. And this might show one of the absolute biggest cultural differences between America and Norway. Americans don't trust each other much. So there's no way you're leaving your child or baby or whatever outside even for a minute, unattended. Also, Americans are not going to let their kids just sit outside even or nap outside just because we think it's like not good to be exposed to the elements. We think it's dangerous and we really are overprotective in that sense. But this is one of the biggest differences in my mind that I've ever heard between Norway and America.
you see like 10 strollers at the door of a restaurant. But imagine that your baby is actually sleeping inside the stroller and you don't want to wake him up, and you can't take the stroller inside to the restaurant. Then you leave your baby in the stroller outside. You try to keep an eye on your baby, but you leave it outside. And this happens, okay? Do not tell me in the comments that this doesn't happen, because I've seen it happening a lot of times. And
This is difficult for me to even imagine. This is so far different than American culture. It is wild to think about. But it's almost unbelievable to me. But that just says so much about Norway and the people of Norway. That everyone is like trusting enough and like together enough as a community to feel okay doing this is really special.
And for me, this is just so strange. In Portugal, no one would leave their baby alone at the door of a restaurant. So it's definitely a cultural thing. I'm not saying it's bad or good. For me, it's just strange. I would be very anxious about it. But yeah, you see it happening. Another Norwegian habit is the kveldmat. This is when you eat around 8 o'clock, maybe 7, 8. I would say between 7 and 9. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Just write it down on the comments. Because Norwegians have dinner so early that then they would need something to eat if they're hungry before.
Oh, I've wondered about this. I've actually wondered about this. Because I learned Norwegians eat dinner really early. So I wondered, are they having some kind of snack in between dinner and sleep or something? And finally, I get my answer. Yes, this makes a lot of sense.
Before going to bed, so later in the evening, and that's the kveldsmat. So they would have dinner between 5 to 6 or 4:30 to 6 maybe, and then they would have the kveldsmat afterwards if they're hungry. So kveldsmat would be like the normal dinner for countries like Portugal and Spain and France.
Yeah.
And their dinner would be our like middle afternoon snack, probably.
Yeah.
Another
yeah.
Norwegian habit, and this one you probably know if you watch my channel because I do it all the time, is going on hyttetours, so cabin trips. They would have a house in the middle of the mountain, the forest, close to a lake or just like a snowy place, and they would drive there. A lot of
Yes, the cabin life. Yes, yes. I watched a video about this a while ago. Norwegians, like families in Norway, own a cabin. A lot of people have a cabin that they can visit, and they go and they visit and get disconnected from the city life or like normal life and just relax on the cabin without so much technology, and you can unwind. And nothing like that exists in America at all. But it sounds so healthy, so refreshing. Man, everything I say about Norway comes back to Norwegians being like very happy and fulfilled and successful. And it seems like it's just all based upon these things. This, like, that the Norwegian society has just gotten right, gotten correct. Like relaxing in their cabins and stuff. Like, it makes a sense.
people do it every weekend to just relax and do some sports, maybe cross country, go on a canoe trip in the lake, mainly just relax in your cabin. Another
Yeah, every weekend? Really? Do some people visit their cabin every week? That seems like more than I thought. I thought it was like once or twice a year, but I'm not sure.
Norwegian habit is matpakke, and this is when you go to work and you don't have lunch there, or just go to a place in general. Like kids have this, they take matpakke to school if the school does not give lunch, and it's literally just like a sandwich.
Oh, like there's a special word for when you don't get lunch where you work or your school? This is like a bring your own lunch, like a bagged lunch or something, like a sandwich. Okay. Well, this is just kind of common in America to do that.
It is a sandwich, but most of the times they do it, it's actually really funny. So imagine a box, and instead of having like a whole sandwich with bread up and down on the box and just take it, or just like wrap it like this, no, they have one slice of bread, then they put something on top, let's say cheese and ham, and then they put another slice of bread, but not to top that one. It's just it will be another one, you know. So, and then they put cheese again.
It's like a super sandwich. It's like a mega super sandwich with 10 layers. Okay, that's fun. You don't see that in America, that's for sure.
So when they take it out of the box, they just take one bread with something on top, eat it, and then there's just another bread with something on top, eat it. You know what I mean? It's just like...
What? Oh, I thought you eat it. I thought it's like this big, and you like eat it all at once or something? Like a giant sandwich? It's, you eat it one stack at a time, one bread at a time. Wow, that's smart. That's a lot smarter than what I was thinking.
Layered bread with something on top, and that's matpakke. Another thing Norwegians would do every single year, so it's a habit, is during summer when it's time to pick all these blueberries, all these blackberries, you know, like there's so many berries in Norway around, like I think from July to September there's a lot of different types of berries that are ripped to pick. Then Norwegians will go to the forest with their families, pick all these berries in like big baskets, and then get home and do jam with it.
Really? Is this common? I feel like I'm asking this for everything. Like, is this really common in Norway? I only say that because this is stuff you just don't find in America at all. Sounds like a fairy tale. Sounds like a fantasy or something. Like, oh, yeah, let's go to the forest and pick berries and make jam. Just sounds so far out to what is normal in America that I'm like, Norwegians really do this? That's awesome. That's amazing. Like that's great. No, Americans aren't into the whole hiking and getting out into nature. That we wouldn't even know what berries to pick or how to do it and how to make jam. That is not many people in America do that at all.
Big jars of jam, and it would have the jam for the rest of the year. The next habit is not a good one at all. I actually really think it's very strange and a little bit disgusting as well. It's snooze. So I've talked about this in other videos.
Snooze.
In Norway, it's not a big habit smoking, not so much, which I love. But instead they use snooze, which is a little package, like a little bag with...
Okay, I've seen this. This isn't very common in America, but you'll see it from time to time. It's not quite chewing tobacco. They're in little packages. I've kind of seen this before. I know what this is. It's not very common.
Tobacco inside, I guess. And you put it between your upper lip and your gum, and it just stays there, and it gives you a feeling. I will never try it because it's too weird for me. I also don't smoke, so I don't have any interest, but it's a big Norwegian habit.
Well, and most Americans, if they're gonna have tobacco or something, the huge thing in America is to vape or have like an e-cigarette. Vaping, that is everywhere. That is huge.
And a big part of the culture here, actually. The next one is attitude, and I think I need to make a video just for this topic. But if I have to explain it quickly, it's when Norwegians go to Sweden to buy things they need. Because in Sweden, things are cheaper, and this can be food, this can be clothes.
I didn't know this had its own word, its own name. I've heard of this. Don't Norwegians will travel to Sweden to buy alcohol or other stuff, apparently. Why? Is it a lot cheaper there? Or Americans can't relate to this because, like, America is so big, you'd have to be on the border of Mexico or Canada to think about going, and then it's not very easy to cross the border and come back into America, and that's a whole hassle. So we don't really have anything like this, but it's very cool how Norwegians, this is common enough that there's a word for it. Norwegians going, into another country to buy stuff.
Things are cheaper, and this can be food, this can be clothes, you name it. The last habit Norwegians have is to go on jentetur and guttetur. And this is when all the guys arrange, or all the girls, if it's jentetur, arrange a trip together to someplace. It can be to another country. It also can be to like a huge cabin here in Norway. It really depends, but this is
I mean, this sounds fun. Again, this is one of those things where I understand, but there's no word for it in English. Like, this reminds me of a bachelor party or a bachelorette party. Just getting the guys together or getting the girls together and going somewhere. That should be more common, but it's not. So it warms my heart to see Norwegians actually doing that more. That sounds great.
very, very common. I actually think jentetur, like the girls' trip, is more common than the other. Not sure. Let me know in the comments. But I think like having like a big group of friends that are really close to you and go all together every year, or like in 2 months, just go on a jentetur or a guttetur, it's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, this will happen during certain holidays in America. Spring break, winter break, if you're at school with your friends and everyone is off at the same time. But other than that, this isn't so common that it really has a word. but it should be. It should be more common. Huh, this is a good idea.
I have more habits on this list, but as you see, it's getting darker and darker on my video, so I'll have to end this for now. So if you want to watch a part 2 of this video, just let me know in the comments, give this video a massive thumbs up, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you on my next video.
Wow, I did like this. This was by Mon Ami. I liked it. I really did. There was a lot of things here that I genuinely haven't heard about before. And that's why I love some of these videos where it's this was just Norwegian habits, unusual Norwegian habits, and it's like, I don't know what to expect. So I'm always very pleasantly surprised when there's a ton of information, especially information that I can take and try to apply to America and my American life and be like, you know, Norwegians do stuff differently and have different habits, and we should try to incorporate some of those into America. Seriously. A lot of them sound very nice and like very healthy. Like it's always such a blast to learn about some of this stuff. Truly, truly. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this reaction, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway, Norwegian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.